another review, and this time we're going to review a series that dropped on Amazon Prime. And Amazon Prime actually spent a lot of money developing this series, and it is called Citadel. It is the Russo brothers that have produced, bankrolled this along with Amazon and Mr. Bezos. Right after Lord of the Rings, this debacle, I don't know how you're going to take it, especially because even before the series dropped, you've already announced two more satellites of this very series, one in India with Varun Dhawan and Samantha Prabhu, and another one in Israel, I think, right?
I think,
I think,
yeah,
yeah. But there are two more adaptations. But having said that, Vanchika, Citadel, what do you think?
I love it and hate it at the same time. I hate it because when I think about it, like I'm supposed to like this. Like when I see the shots, when I see the music, because like I watched this like long interview of Priyanka Chopra before that because I am a PC fan, and she was like, "Oh my God, you should go watch it for the music." There's no like songs, but the music because she was trying to sell it to like the Indian audience. Someone asked her, "Why would someone in India go and watch Citadel?" Which is like a fair question to ask, and she was like, "Because there might not be songs with good music," and I agree with her. Beautiful job done on the music, but the rest of it, I'm not so sure. Like, where else did the money go? Because it all felt like fake. The editing was just like, it felt like an Instagram filter on it. And I was like, why are these colors like popping, like unrealistic? Like, calm down with the saturation. Like,
So
yeah.
tell us what the story is about. What is Citadel about?
So Citadel used to be like this like big syndicate, and we had these two agents who used to work for them, and it used to be like pretty nasty and ugly, to be honest. I didn't
So
expect
the
it to
thing
be like,
about Citadel is it's not like this, they actually diss the CIA and others because other intelligence organizations belong to countries. A Citadel is an intelligence organization that belongs to humanity. That's how they kind of project it. But go on.
and yeah, so like this humanity-based organization, and things get very like scary, to be very honest. Like like, I know it was supposed to be a thriller, but this was like a lot of like blood. It was just like pretty intense for me. And I wasn't like, that's not what I went in thinking because I was like, oh, like it's going to be like a fun James Bond kind of movie, but it wasn't. And once like all of that happened, this transition happens and like they get amnesia. I used to think that's a song. That's all that I knew of amnesia. I was like, oh, like this is a song, and like I like listening to it, but like that's it. I don't know amnesia beyond that. So I was like, okay, let's see how this goes now. And it's just absolutely absurd. Again, the plot, you know it's fiction, but they're just trying to make it seem so realistic that they're like failing at it. Like just let it be completely like
I
fiction.
seriously thought I watched the two episodes that dropped this weekend on Friday, right? And I thought it was like, all right, this is a bit like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then it's like they're trying to marry James Bond with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and you know it's just the Italian Alps. I love the opening scene. You know how the camera goes whoop,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's Priyanka Chopra as Nadia Sin and Richard Madden as Mason Kane, and they're on this train and they're flirting with each other, but they're backing thugs as they go
But
and
like
getting
their
physically
flirting is
fast.
questionable. The
Yeah,
flirting, the dialogues are questionable. It looks steamy, but the dialogues are very questionable.
very whoever wrote it doesn't has a sense of humor because I wasn't too sure. But then they were literally shooting bad guy parts, right? Private parts. So
Yeah.
all of that, but the mission goes sideways, and so does the train, and the train falls off the cliff. And behind this elaborate trap, which with these two, imagine it's an intelligence organization that doesn't belong to a country, but it's a very big intelligence organization. And Citadel, once the train goes off hill, Citadel finishes. And but the guy who's responsible for this is a guy called is Manticore. Manticore is not a guy; it's an organization. It is a
Yeah.
global syndicate of wealthy families who oppose the agency's mandate to protect the safety and security of people. So so then these people just fall off the train, and then we come back to the story 8 years later, and Bernard, who is Stanley Tucci, right? Yeah, he's the tech guy that used to run Citadel, comes looking for Mason Kane, and Mason is now, you know, he has a civilian life, he has a wife and a daughter, and he doesn't remember anything. and we don't even know what Nadia is doing. So I thought the pyrotechnics were impressive, but what did you think, Vanchika?
I don't think so. I mean, like, I see like why someone would go and watch it. And honestly, it wasn't that long. Like, it didn't take me that long to watch it. So, like, it's not like, oh, like, don't go and waste your time. Like, you're not spending that much time on it, which I think is great. I think that, like, that's the one reason it's going really well because it's very quick. So much happens so quickly. And you're like, okay, fine. Like, you're like satisfied with like how far your story has progressed, with how much you're investing in it. So I feel like in that way, like the storyline is great, but yeah, I
What
don't love it. I felt like I
what
was
did
not
you
in love with it.
miss about the movie?
I feel like because like Priyanka Chopra was doing like 80% of the stunts, I was like, I was supposed to be in awe of the movie before I watched it. But it just felt like I'd seen it before. Like I've seen this so many number of times. Like I just wanted like something like out of the textbook. It just literally felt like every single thing that should be in like a stereotypical like Hollywood blockbuster and like a Bollywood storyline is there in it. But it's not working. Like it's just not working together for me.
Yeah, I think that's where I also felt disconnected. The first disconnect was, okay, you love PC, but she doesn't look all that great. She has this fake accent where she tries to cover up. I mean, she must have gotten voice trained, accent trained, which is great because she needs to work in this industry. She needs to get the accent. She needs to get the training. However, the way she modulates her voice really like 200 decibels below zero is kind of weird, and it makes me shaky about her as an
Yeah.
actor because you don't need to sound seductive when you're asking for butter, right? You don't need to ask, you don't need to sound so seductive the entire time. But she kind of tries to up the mantle somehow. And then her chemistry with Mason Kane's character, I mean Richard Madden's character Mason Kane, was like there's no chemistry. Literally, they're supposed to be, have had a relationship at that point in time or whatever it was. So that missed out. Then there's too much destruction. There's too many moving parts, too much happening, which is not edited properly. And that I was shocked about because hey, this is a Russo brothers movie. These are the guys that know how to make movies, but the way the editing is very shaky, the way the cut to scenes is very, you kind of feel as if
And
it's
let it like play out, like give it the time that it deserves. I have a very controversial question for you, if since you've watched it. Do you think Deepika Padukone would have done this better than Priyanka did?
okay. I have to tell you something. I think Deepika Padukone is a good actor. Let's just leave it there. But she's not an action actor. Even when she did all the action sequences with Pathan, she was very heavy. She's not, when you do action sequences, you got to be like Jackie Chan. You got to be Jackie Chan, right? You can't have a heavy lift of your leg. You cannot just let VFX do the rest. It shows in your body, or use a body double. Don't show your face up. It's the same with Priyanka Chopra here as well. The action sequences are very nicely angled out. They've angled it really well. They've literally let it play in a way that you don't really get to see a lot, or she's doing it, but you don't get to see her doing the action. But she's heavy on her feet. She's not an action star. To be an action star, you have to be like Angelina Jolie, who trained for a couple of years to get into shape to really come with that flight into the scenes. There's no flight in her
Yeah.
kicks, right? You can't be an action star when the audience feels you're weighing 200 pounds when you're kicking. So all of these things, I don't think Priyanka is cut out for action. Her new rom-com is coming, probably that might be a better space for her, but action is definitely not her genre.
Yeah. I actually like I get that.
Okay, well, this was our review of Citadel, which is streaming on Amazon Prime. I'm so sorry for Jeff Bezos this week. Really, I am. Sunk more money into something that's not going to work. But having said that, let's move on to our next review.